The box in the next tent.
Keep an eye out that one.
2v1.
Gas is slowly moving. I'm going to the next tent.
Team wipe.
We did it.
Yes! There we go, boys. Holy shit.
Yes, perfect.
Woo! What a win. Oh my god.
We knew we were gonna get it.
I said let's get this dub.
Yes, sir.
What's going on, everybody? Django here. Today we got 10 tips for Warzone 2 new players. This is going to be team related for quads, trios, or even duos. All these tips I'm going to give you guys today are definitely going to come in handy if you're new to the game, or you just need something to brush up on or try to figure out how to get to that last 10, 5, or even a win in the game. As you saw in the previous clip, that was our team winning our first quads game. We've been real close the last couple of nights here where we've been getting top 10s, top 5s constantly on a constant basis. And these tips right now are pretty much going to help you because this is usually how we kind of operate whenever I'm playing with a couple of guys or even some new players here. I try to implement these tips right now. So let's get into it. Starting us off at number 1 is going to be finding 2 different places to drop on the map. Al Mazrah is a pretty big map. It's a lot of confusion there, but there's also great places to drop constantly every single time that you log into the game and get familiar with it. So find 2 different places and getting that repetition and knowing where all the tools and weapons and contracts are going to be will definitely help you starting off the game. Another reason why I tell people to use 2 different spots is a lot of times the circle is not going to be an ideal place for you and your team to drop in, get a bunch of loot, and then have to make a very long trek all the way over into the zone, so you guys might get gassed out before you even get started. So finding two different places will give you a high chance of survival when you guys get real familiar with finding a place to drop at. Coming in at number 2 is planning a route. Now, once you guys got all your loot and your gear, you're going to need to figure out if you guys are in the zone or outside the circle or anything like that. So planning a route is nice. If you guys are starting somewhere like the port and you need to get to the quarry, or from the caves and you need to get to hydroelectric, you guys are going to need to be able to smartly plan a route that's going to benefit you guys and not run into another team so early on and get gunned down and get into a conflict way too early. Once you guys have that route, step number 3 is going to come heavily into play, where it's going to be about team money. You guys need to figure out who has enough money to get what. It's going to take about 4,000 to buy back a player on your squad, or it's going to take some money for you guys to get the weapons and loot that you need. So if you guys need a UAV, you guys got to start consolidating money. If not, figuring out who's going to need to buy someone else back. So give up the money, start shuffling around, or just keep it, but make sure that money stays safe. Now that the game's rolling on, a big difference of good teams and bad teams is their team spacing. So if you guys have a point man that likes to go out and scout and get money and do a bunch of other things, he might get into some conflicts that's going to put your team in jeopardy, and you guys are running back to try to go save him, and then next thing you know, all you guys are in the gulag. So safe spacing is good. Also, don't be too close, because if everyone's just looting the same thing, you're not looting enough stuff with the area to clear it out. So safe spacing is definitely a key part of the game. You can also land in different buildings to make sure that you guys have a control of an area. So if you guys land at some place like the airport, if you all land at different areas but still have a group spacing to where y'all can come back and help each other out, that's definitely a key way to start taking control of the game. Getting to the midway point with tip number 5, which is one of my favorites actually, is going to be comms. Now, if you have a team that isn't talking to each other, you can still be really effective if you guys just ping things. If you double tap whatever the ping button is that you have mapped, you can definitely hit, hey, this is where enemies at, or just ping weapons and stuff like that. If you guys are vocal and you are a team that actually likes to talk to each other, just let each other know how much money you have or what weapons are around. If you guys have a player that likes to snipe versus someone that likes to have a SMG build, let them know like where the weapons are at. Give good call outs when you see an enemy and what's going on. If they're moving around, they're doing something like that, don't just say, hey, this guy's over here. So comms are going to be very effective for you. You can definitely tell a team that doesn't have comms when you're able to take out a couple players very quickly. On to number 6 for my tips. A big thing here in the game is going to be your contracts. Now, it's a little bit divisive. A lot of people don't like to use contracts that much, but for me, I do like to give my team a chance, fighting chance here. So you might have some hunting down contracts. You might get hunted down. So the safecracker ones are usually our faves. That's where you're actually just getting money without having to fight anybody. But if you use the contracts to your advantage, you're able to gather a lot of money really quickly and possibly eliminate some of the team. Keep in mind that if your team is doing bounty hunting missions or contracts, that you don't have to kill the guy that you're hunting. A lot of times, if he gets killed in the crossfire of another team, you guys will still get money. It's not the full amount, but you guys will still get money. So sometimes taking the contracts and still not going after the guy is beneficial to your team. If you guys are being hunted, on the other hand, you can either stay and fight and try to figure out what's going on, but they will have the advantage of knowing exactly where you are relatively, or you guys can run away and fight and you will get money that way from avoiding the contract and avoid being killed. Another thing is you can also have that contract null and void because that team will get killed eventually. So there's plenty of ways to make money during the contracts, and that's something that you guys need to keep in mind. Number 7 is going to be gun combinations and just combos in general. So it might be important to you guys to have the the exact gun that you want, or you are in the other half of the group where you want to be able to just pick up whatever you have off the ground, be able to use it correctly and efficiently and still be effective to your team. So it's going to be personal preference for you. In my opinion, I'd rather just be good at any gun that I can pick up and try to learn it on hand than being that guy that has to have his loadout, or else the game is going to be pretty chalked up and trash for him. So figure it out for yourself. Try a bunch of guns, go into the firing range and figure out like what is going to work for you guys, or just pick up each gun and start shooting it off. You can waste a couple of matches doing that. Coming down to the home stretch, we have tip number 8, which is going to be conflict. So if you guys are a team that just likes to drop hot and figure out what's going on, where half the team goes to the gulag in the first 10 seconds of the game, that's fine. You guys don't really have to listen to this one. But if you want to be a strategic team that has a little bit more advantage to win, where you guys are flanking constantly or calling out and figuring out what advantage that you have, tactical advantage or just geographical, where if you guys have the height advantage or just coverage of things, it's going to lead real well to your team having a strong tactical advantage on everybody else when you're gunning them down or putting them in a spot that they don't want to be in. So listen to tip number 8. You guys are gonna have to mess around with that one and figure out what type of team you guys are. Aggressive team, tactical team, strategic one. What's going to go on here. You can always run from a fight in this game for the most part in the beginning stages, but once you get to that last stage, you guys got to figure out, hey, do we need to come out of this building really quickly, or do we need to traverse this one place and go over here? How are you guys gonna get to the end of that game? If all else fails, and tip number 9 is what has to happen, where your team either has to buy you back or you come back from the gulag, keep in mind where you're having to land. If it's late game, you're not really going to have that much choice of weapons or options to land at. If it's early game and you're landing back with your team and your team is 1, figure out where the next place is to go. If you sit there and with the parachute, you're able to kind of scout ahead for what's going on in the game. If you're able to see another team fight or a couple other people go around, or even some of the key looting places like the train, you can definitely help out your team instead of them kind of figuring out where you're going to land at. So if you're doing the comeback, just figure out what's going on, man. Last but not least, the most important part in that top 10, top 5 range is going to be the closure. So how's your team going to close out? Are you guys out in the open? Figure out how much gear you guys got. It might be a really bad situation where you're down to one team and you have everyone else coming around you. At that part, it's just survival. You don't want to fight too much. You kind of want to let everybody else kill each other off, or you could be that very aggressive team and just keep going after people and putting them in bad spots. It's honestly going to come down to repetition. But if you listen to the last 9 tips that I gave you guys, it's probably going to help you out in this 10th one. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope y'all take care. Let me know how many wins of Warzone you've gotten. I've gotten 1 in solos and 1 in quads, and I'm hoping to do trios and duos sometime soon. This has been 10 tips with Django. I hope you guys take care and have fun, man.
You.
For us, for the team.
Should be ammo all the way in the back, right?
I have 2 precisions and a mortar.
We weren't a team when you fucking popped that pizza.
I need food.
Gas is closing.
So we are hungry too.
Okay.
Where's my pizza?
Make your own food.
You know what? You can go ahead and suck my left nut.
Okay. Hard.
Yeah, it's not hard.
I said I did not say. No, I didn't say. I said how hard.
All right, I think we have reached our destination.
He's taking requests.
So you're saying that you would do it?
You wouldn't think that way. You go right ahead.
Oh, hey, team.
Double tap?
Yep.
Oh, shit, I see him.
He's got. Oh shit.
Hostile mortar strike in the area.
Oh,
Friendly
God.
precision airstrike
Let's push to the
inbound.
right. All right, I'm going up top. Oh, God, please don't hit me. Please don't hit me. I don't want to die. I'm a good noodle.
I down one. Nice.
Another one here.
Yep, I see this one.
Precision airstrike.
You done? Right there, right around the corner.
Yep. All right, who's down on us?
Me.
I got the last one.
Where are you?
Oh, I'm marking them. Just to make sure.
I saw someone down. But... Oh, shit.
Sniper's down!
No, just kidding.